Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Examiners, Mrs. Haja Zuhatati MBD. First of all, let us praise to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because of His blessing, I can finish my undergraduate thesis. I would also like to thank to Mrs. Haja Suhartati MBD for taking the time to assess and provide valuable feedback on my final project. Today, I'm going to present the result of my undergraduate thesis entitled Developing English Learning Materials for Fifth Grade Students at UPT Satuan Pendidikan SDN Pusumalang 1 Puspo. That will begin with the background of the research. In this globalization era, English has an important role as an international communication and lingua franca. What is lingua franca? Lingua franca is a language that used by several groups that maybe have a different mother language. For the example, when we go to China, we can't speak Chinese, so we use English. So that's it. English is lingua franca. Learning English from an early age has so many advantages. Children can more easily absorb a new sounds and language pattern, and those who learn a second language at an early age have a higher chance of achieving fluency. So, by introducing English since in the elementary schools, students can have a strong foundation of language skills which support their personal and professional development. And also, based on the regulation of the Minister of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, English will become a mandatory subject in elementary school starting at 2027 and 2028 academic year. So, this condition has a potential to cause a gap between students, especially students in SDN Pusumalang 1 Puspo that have never learned English before. In an interview with the headmaster, he stated that the main issue is the absence of English teachers. The school struggles to find qualified local candidates and faces limitation in hiring due to salary constraints and formal recruitment requirements like PTKK or CPNS. The problem is also from the student itself. The students face issues such as lack of learning media, limited time, and difficulty with the subject. And some of them feel English is not important or too hard to learn. To overcome this gap, some efforts are needed to develop an English learning media that align and suitable for their characteristic and their needs. This research focused on developing English learning materials for 5th grade students at UPT Satuan Pendidikan SDN Pusumalang 1 Puspo. The materials must match the student's characteristic and student's need, and the media should be designed in a way to allow the class teacher who may have limited English proficiency can effectively deliver the lessons. So, how do appropriate English learning materials for 5th grade students at SDN Pusumalang 1 Puspo? This research aims to develop English learning materials specifically for 5th grade students that have to be engaging, interactive, and easy to use. By providing a well-structured media, it helps to prepare students for English as a mandatory subject in 2027 and 2028. So, what is the benefit of the products? Here, I am creating a worksheet. It has so many benefits. It helps students to build a basic English and communication skills. For the teachers, it reducing difficulty in deliver the lesson. The product covers 4 main topics: greetings, self-introduction, taste, and clothes, with 4 essential aspects. The first is related sentence that provide context for each topic. The second is thematic word list. with illustration and pronunciation guides. Next is interactive exercise, such as speaking practice and matching. And the last is structured tasks, like fill in the blanks, multiple choice, and short writing assignment. The second chapter is review of the related literature. Here, I am using 6 theoretical review. The first is English for young learners. The second is development of learning materials. The third is second language acquisition in children. The fourth is cognitive development and language learning. Number 5 is instructional design and ADDIE model. And the last is young learner engagement and motivation. There are also previous studies relevant to my research. The most research I was used is by Paldi et al. Entitled Creating Engaging Flashcard Materials for Young Learners. This study showed significant improvement in students' engagement and vocabulary retention, so the well-designed flashcard proved to be an effective tool for vocabulary acquisition. Another study is from Bagus Setiawan at 2024 entitled Perkembangan dan Tantangan Pembelajaran Bahasa Inggris Berbasis Game Android pada Anak Usia Dini. This study concludes that Android-based games could make English lessons more engaging and increase student enthusiasm for learning. Furthermore, Developing English Learning Materials of Basic Vocabulary for Young Learners by Octaviani at 2018 is focused on creating vocabulary learning materials for 7-year-old students. And the findings showed that these materials successfully facilitated independent learning at home based on interests, characteristics, and developmental stages of young learners. This research adopts the research and development method that follows ADDIE model. This research took place in UPT Satuan Pendidikan SDN Pusung Malang 1 Puspo in Pasuruan Regency, with the subject is 5th grade students. The instrument was used is questionnaire and interview with the headmaster. The technique of the data collection is by questionnaire, interview, observation, expert validation, which called as a triangulation data. The next process is analyze the data. In this research, I am as the researcher using descriptive analysis. In the fourth chapter, it reports the result of the research. In the analysis stage, I am identified the problem related to English learning in UPT Satuan Pendidikan SDN Pusung Malang 1. Truth questionnaire that distributed to 5th grade students and an interview with the school principal or headmaster. And the result indicated that almost all students have never learned English before, although they have a high interest on learning it. At the design stage, I am formulated the objective of developing materials to create an enjoyable and accessible media. Various references are collected and adopted according to students' needs. The first result, or the draft of the media design, is attached in Appendix 4. The next stage is development. At this stage, the media or the worksheet was validated to ensure that the media design has the appropriate content to the material and learning objectives. This media was validated by 3 experts, 2 design experts and 1 content expert. The material expert stated that the overall content of the worksheet was clear and relevant to the elementary student. The material was presented with simple language and engaging illustration that can help students who may have never learned English before can easily understand the context. The media design assessed that the worksheet visual appeal was high and appropriate for elementary school students. The visual elements such as colors, and shapes were considered consistent and harmonious with a child-friendly context. But there are some minor revisions, such as changing the background from blue into white to improve the contrast with other elements. Following revision based on the expert input, the worksheet was tried out to fifth grade students at STN Pusamalang 1 on June at 2025. The purpose of this trial is to assess the possibility and effectiveness of the developed learning materials. The topic that was implemented is only the first topic. It is greetings. After trying out the worksheet, the students asked to complete the questionnaire. The analysis of students' response showed very positive feedback. Most students stated that they loved the color, they loved the cute element, made them happy to learn with using this worksheet. In addition, interview with the class teacher also conducted. It provided valuable feedback on the worksheet. The teacher stated that the worksheet had several key strengths, such as attractive design, simple content, and the ease of use for teacher. The students enjoyed the worksheet and felt motivated. They feel more confident in learning English because the materials were understandable even for the first-timers like students in STN Pusamalang 1. And the class teacher found that the worksheet helpful and easy to use. The last chapter is conclusion and suggestion. The conclusion is this worksheet, entitled High English, is suitable for beginners, was developed to align with the specific needs of 5th grade students in UPT Satuan Pendidikan STN Pusamalang 1 Puspo who had not previously learned English and is effective for schools without an English teacher. Here are some suggestions for schools and teachers. School can use High English as a simple, user-friendly resource to introduce English, with suggested short teacher trainings to support its use. For educational authorities and curriculum planners should support the expansion and distribution of similar materials to aid the 2027 and 2028 mandatory English curriculum rollout. For the future researcher, should expand the materials with more topics, digital features, and broader trials to test effectiveness in diverse contexts. This worksheet should be combined with fun activities like games, songs, and role plays for a more engaging learning experiences. That concludes my undergraduate thesis presentation. I would like to thank to Mrs. Haja Suhartati MBD for the attention. I am open to any suggestions, questions, and feedback. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.